Hello, I'm here in Enfield, Connecticut. It's a small little town about 30 miles north of where we live here in Connecticut. And behind me at that church, Jonathan Edwards preached the sermon, Sinners in the Hand of an Angry God. Probably the most famous sermon that's been preached since Paul preached to the Greeks at the Areopagus. You know, July 8th, 1741, in a stern, nearly lawyer-like fashion, Edwards laid out the case against the moral decline of their time and for the return to the principles of faith that had preceded that generation. It became known as the Great Awakening. Now, numerically, the Great Awakening saw membership in churches double or more. New churches were built. George Whitefield, one of the leading preachers at the time, was preaching to crowds that numbered in the tens of thousands. It was an amazing thing to see. And as revival fires swept across the nation, as people began to experience freedom for their sins, they also began to realize they wanted to be free from tyranny. And these disjointed colonies all of a sudden had something that they could come together with. They unified. They had a chant that said, "No king but King Jesus." All because of the revival fires that swept out of a place just like this. But there's a warning though. While revival fires were burning brightly here in the mid-1700s, today this is a place where missionaries are being sent. It is one of the least evangelized places, not just in the country, but in the entire world. We know friends that have come from Brazil and South Africa and Asian countries just to come here and to bring the gospel here because people have lost the faith. What was once the epicenter of evangelism has now become the focus for missions. I mean, according to the Barna Research Group, just up the mile, 15 miles in Springfield, Massachusetts, it's the least or the most post-Christian city in the country. 15 miles the other way, Hartford, where we live, is the seventh most post-Christian community in our country. 8 of the top 10 are within a 150-mile radius of where we stand today. And to think that the place where revival fires most burned the hottest is now a place where mission work has to come. I want us to take that as a warning. We're not guaranteed another generation of believers. Not in a country, not in a state, not even in our church or in our families. But we are fortunate. God has given us the scriptures in order to guide us and direct us. And God has promised to send us the Holy Spirit to be our counselor in order to lead us into a brand new season of revival.